as we start our first day of workshop, before we proceed, I would like to ask Studio to play the national anthem. We can all stand. Thank you. Now, East African anthem. Thank you very much. We can all have seats. So we'll start by welcoming Dr. Ali Yahya Simba, who will give introductory remarks. Dr. Karibu.
Minister for Information, Communication and Information Technology, Honorable Mr. Napinawe, Member of Parliament, Director General, TCRA, Dr. Jabiri Bakari, a representative from the Regional Government of Zanzibar, Dr. Mzee, the Board Chairman of TCRA, Vice President Office officials present, TCRA, NEMC, and government officials present. Mr. Yohav Rothenberg, Managing Director and founder of MAV RDC, members and partners of Eaco in Tanzania, Chairperson of Eaco Working Group 7, Mr. Juma Oro, member of Eaco Regional E-Waste Management Steering Committee, member of media, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, good morning. Good morning. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Almighty God for gracing us with good health, for protecting our travel to Tanzania, for all those who are coming from abroad, and making this workshop possible. On behalf of the East African Communication Organization, and on my own behalf, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our guest of honor, the Minister of Information, Communication, and Information Technology, for agreeing to come and preside over this important workshop despite his busy schedule. In a special way, I want to extend my deepest appreciation to TCRA for not only agreeing to partner with the Eaco in organizing and hosting this workshop in this beautiful city of Dar es Salaam, but also for their commitment and support to Eaco programs and activities. On the other hand, I want to recognize and thank those organizations represented here today, together with various speakers, presenters, and moderators who have agreed to associate with themselves with the Eaco in this workshop. It gives me much pleasure on behalf of Eaco to welcome all of you to our 5th E-Waste Management Awareness Workshop with the theme From Awareness to Action, Factoring Sustainable E-Waste Management as Priority towards achieving 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. Our guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, this workshop will create an opportunity for stakeholders in the ICT and environment sector in East Africa to dialogue and review the regional and global trends on strategies for better e-waste management. It will also provide a platform for ways of harmonizing regional efforts in e-waste management, keeping in view of the global developments. We are currently faced with such great and overwhelming innovative technology evolution, which demands that we deal with ensuing trends. These innovations are emerging at a speed that leaves regulators struggling, almost giving up, had it not been for the continued sharing and collaboration of the stakeholders in improving and adopting best practices, both in ICT as well as e-waste fora. In addition to the remarkable growth in ICT infrastructure, operators and service providers are witnessing a generation where more and more people are being connected to the network, as well as equipments through smartphone, tablets, laptop, computer, fridge, and so many other devices into a network global village. In order to respond to the changing environment and seize the opportunity created by ICTs, a number of organizations and operators are not only changing their business model, but are busy modernizing their processes and operations through the use of ICT, which has increased the production and the procurement of more electronic and equipment devices. Any devices that you're buying today is an e-waste in coming 5, probably, or 6 years, and with the end of life of this equipment becoming very little, sometimes even in 2 years, the equipment you have today, they're going to be e-waste. Fellow stakeholders, consumption of electric and electronic equipment is increasing on a daily basis. Emerging economies show fastest growth rates in EEE consumption. For instance, in most countries, 48% of households today have computer. 7.7 billion are mobile cellular subscribers, and over 8% of the world population is covered by mobile broadband signal. Expansion of networks, more internet usage, increased online business, multiple devices ownership, growth in cloud computing, AI, and short replacement cycle of electronic equipment are some of the drivers of e-waste. E-waste is the fastest growing waste stream in the world today. Reports have shown that 67 million metric tons of electrical and electronic equipment were put on the global market in 2015, almost 12 years ago, 10 years ago, and about 53.6 metric tons e-waste were disposed of worldwide in every year. For example, for the last 5 years, Sub-Saharan Africa has had the fastest mobile growth rate in the world. Mobile phone subscribers have hit a billion mark in Africa. Mobile phones in Africa will increase 20-fold in the next 5 years, doubling the rate of growth in the rest of the world, which means an increase in e-waste. Distinguished delegates, our guests of honor, according to the Global E-Waste Monitoring Estimates, by 2016, the annual global consumption of new electrical and electronic equipment was around 60 million metric tons. The consumption and the use of EEE is probably most relevant in the developed countries, but developing countries have shown a rapid growth of consumption and use of EEE in recent years. The annual consumption of new EEE in developing countries increases by 10% to 25% annually. The GEM estimate also indicates the growth. The global e-waste generated reached about 53.6 metric tons in 2019. This was equivalent to 6.1 kilogram per inhabitant of e-waste annually. More GEM estimate that in 2016, domestic e-waste generation in Africa approximate to 2.2 metric tons. You can see the difference of normal waste and e-waste. Now currently, little information is available on the amount of e-waste documented that is collected and recycled by the formal sector in Africa. Only a handful of countries in the continent have enacted e-waste specific policies and legislation. Recycling activities are dominated by ill-equipped informal sector with the related inefficient resource recovery and environmental pollution. Most African countries are currently developing various models of extended producers' responsibility scheme as part of their solution to the e-waste problem. Honorable guests of honor, findings from the National E-Waste Statistics Report 2019 has indicated amount of EEE put on the market in Tanzania, and because you're in Tanzania today, allow me to talk about that, had increased from 21,000 tons in 1998 to almost 57,000 tons in 2017. The findings further indicate that e-waste generated had increased from about 2,000 tons in 1998 to 35,000 tons in 2017. Guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, it was in recognition of the above e-waste challenges with the imminent danger that was likely to result from the absence of a sustainable e-waste management system in the East African region that Eaco adopted a regional e-waste management strategy through which the following has been achieved. Collaborative framework have been established with the key regulatory bodies and other relevant stakeholders for the proper management of e-waste in Eaco member state, considering that e-waste is a cross-cutting issue. The strategy has supported the operations and functions of the Regional Steering Committee for effective coordination of the implementation of regional e-waste strategy. A resource mobilization strategy has been developed for effective implementation of Eaco e-waste management strategy plan, which has resulted in technical and financial support to e-waste management. An analysis was conducted for e-waste management infrastructure requirement for the Eaco member states and formulation and alignments of national policies, guidelines, and standards to develop regional policies, standard and guideline in our region. Our guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt that this multi-stakeholder forum will not only create awareness about the EOS challenges, but will give us a good opportunity to benchmark, share experience, and above all, come up with a regional approach that will guide all key stakeholders to move in one direction in dealing with the e-waste challenge in a concerted manner. I want once again to thank our guests of honor and all of you for accepting our invitation, and I'd like to wish you a very fruitful celebration during this workshop. Now, before I conclude, our guests of honor, now Swahili being the second language of East Africa, I'll say a few words in Swahili. Mheshimiwa Waziri, wageni waalikwa, nawashukuru kwa kuja kwenye workshop yetu ya 5 ya taka za kielektroniki. Workshop 4 zimepita katika nchi zingine za Afrika Mashariki. Tulianza Kenya, tukaenda Uganda, tukaenda Rwanda, mwaka jana tulikuwa Burundi, na sasa tumekuja Tanzania. Na lengo kubwa la workshop hii ni kutoa fursa kwa wadau wanaohusika na taka za kielektroniki kupata fursa ya kujadiliana na kutafuta namna bora zaidi ya kupambana na taka za kielektroniki. Kwa hayo machache, Mheshimiwa Waziri, asante. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Now, before I welcome the TCRA DG, I would like to recognize Dr. Mzee Mdewa, Director of ICT, Ministry of Works, Transport and Communication from Zanzibar. Doctor, you're welcome. Would like to, so we prepared a documentary, a e-waste documentary. Now, before we welcome DG from TCRA, I would like to ask Studio to play it so that we can all watch and see what is in the documentary. Thank you.
Wewe, hauoni kama ni uchafu? Na ni nani ambaye anatupa vifaa vya kielektroniki ovyo kama hivi? Haya, hebu nenda nyumbani.
Hili eneo la e-waste linahitaji awareness kubwa sana.
Taka za kielektroniki ni taka ambazo zinatokana na matumizi ya vifaa vya mawasiliano ya kielektroniki kama vile vifaa kama simu, kompyuta tunazozitumia, televisheni, pamoja na vifaa vingi vinavyotumika kwenye mawasiliano. Vifaa hivi vinapofika mwisho wa matumizi yake vinabadilika na kuwa taka za kielektroniki. Kwa nini tunaweka mkazo maalum kwa usimamizi wa taka hizi? Ni kwa sababu zisipowekewa usimamizi mzuri zinaweza zikaleta madhara kwenye mazingira pamoja na watu ambao wanaishi kwenye maeneo husika.
Mimi naitwa Gideon Chilambo, ni mkurugenzi wa kampuni ya Chilambo General Trade Company Limited, kampuni ambayo iko hapa Kisarawe, Industrial Area. Kazi yetu kubwa ambayo ni core business yetu ni electronic waste management. Tumeanza biashara hii tangu mwaka 2012 rasmi. Tuna vibali ambavyo vinaturuhusu sisi kukusanya waste nchi nzima, yani mikoa yote ya Tanzania bara. Kuna vibali vya transportation na storage. Tukishafikisha hapa hizo e-waste tunafanya dismantling. Baada ya dismantling tunafanya segregation kutokana na nature ya item ambayo tulikuwa naifanyia dismantling. Venye nature ya plastic tunapeleka kwenye viwanda vya plastic. Venye nature ya chuma tunapeleka kwenye viwanda ambavyo vinafanya smelting ya chuma. Kuna venye nature labda ya copper tunapeleka kwenye viwanda vya copper. Tungetamani kama tungeweza kupata uwezo wa kujenga plant ya kwetu hapa, tungeweza kufanya recycling ya vitu vingi hapa, tungeongeza thamani ya hizo item na tukazisafirisha nje kwa thamani kubwa kuliko hivi tunavyozipeleka kama raw. Hatuna uwezo mkubwa wa kuweza kutoa hiyo elimu kwa wananchi wote, lakini tukipata nguvu ya serikali, sisi kama kampuni tuko tayari kushirikiana na serikali katika kuelimisha wananchi, kutofautisha vitu ambavyo vina hatari, ambavyo ni hazardous na ambavyo sio hazardous. Betri za simu kikaa nayo muda mrefu inaweza kukulipukia ikakuua, ila kwa sababu ya mtu anakuwa hajui, simu imeshakufa, betri imeshakufa, anaweka ndani na anaweza kaweka maeneo ambayo ni karibu na moto zaidi, kipata moto kinalipuka. Kwa hiyo mimi nitoe wito tu kwa serikali kwamba tunaiomba shirikiane na kampuni yetu katika kutoa awareness kwa wananchi ili kuepukana na madhara ambayo yanaweza kutokana na hizi taka za kielektroniki.
Katika kutekeleza hilo, Mamlaka ya Mawasiliano huwa inashirikiana na taasisi za kimataifa na za kikanda, na hivyo kushirikiana na taasisi ya mawasiliano ya Jumuiya za Afrika Mashariki ijulikanayo kwa jina la Eaco, ambayo huandaa semina mbalimbali kwenye nchi wanachama. Lengo la semina hiyo ni kuwaweka pamoja wadau wa usimamizi wa taka za kielektroniki na kuhamasisha au kutoa elimu juu ya umuhimu wa kutunza vizuri na kuweka udhibiti au usimamizi mzuri wa taka za kielektroniki.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much for the short documentary. I hope we now have an overview of what we are trying to talk about. Now, I would like to welcome Director General, TCRA, Dr. Jabiri Bakari, to come and give us their opening remarks. Thank you.
Honorable Minister Nape Moses Nauye, Member of Parliament, Minister of Information, Communication and Information Technology, Dr. Omari Shajia, Permanent Secretary, First Vice President, Office of Environment in Zanzibar, Mr. Mlembo Mnapu, the Director of ICT, but today representing the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Information, Communication and Information Technology, other Permanent Secretaries here present, Dr. Ali Simba, the Executive Secretary, Eaco, Engineer Othman Sharif, the Chairman of the Board of Directors, TCRA, Mr. Sheha Mjeja Juma, the Director General, the Zanzibar Environment Management Authority, ZEMA, Dr. Mzee Mdewa, sitting here, is a member of the board, but also representing as a Director ICT from the Zanzibar government, representatives of ICT and Environment Regulatory from East African Community and member states, and representative of all government institutions. I know we have people from Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, South Sudan, and Democratic Republic of Congo. I know some are following us online. As my colleague said, we are now having Swahili as a second language. Karibuni sana. Members of the private sectors present here, all invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, with all protocols observed, good morning. It is a great pleasure for me, in my personal capacity and on behalf of the Tanzania Communication Regulatory Authority to welcome you to this very important event, the 5th Eaco Regional E-Waste Workshop on Sustainable E-Waste Management in the East African region at Serena here in the city of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We all saw the video and we understand why we will spend these few days in this small room here. Honorable guests of honor, as we are aware, the first Eaco Regional E-Waste Workshop on Sustainable E-Waste Management in the region was held way back in March 2015 in Nairobi, Kenya, and the second one was held in July 2017 in Kampala, Uganda. The third workshop was held in Kigali, Rwanda in May 2018, and the fourth workshop was held in Bujumbura, Burundi in March 2019. You may further recall that the workshop was planned to take place on 26th and 27th of March in 2020, but due to the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, it did not take place, and I have been informed that the next workshop will actually be held in South Sudan in year 2024. I recognize that the workshop that East African Communication Organization, the Eaco, through its working group 7, Honorable Minister, we have various technical working groups on, with various themes. This particular one is on e-wastes, and in particular on green ICT. Among other exchanges, apart from the various technical sessions, every after sometimes we do have this kind of working sessions in very details, partly to update each other on where we are, but also exchange on various strategies on how we can all handle this important issue. The theme on the workshop is From Awareness to Action, factoring sustainable e-waste management as a priority towards achieving 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. And we are hosting it this time, as I said before, here. Honorable guests of honor, Tanzania in particular is seeing a remarkable development on e-waste management initiatives in collaboration with other stakeholders in the country. In 2011, TCRI conducted a study to assess the status of e-waste management from the disposal facilities, lack of infrastructure, but also in the process itself, that the disposal process itself. Some of the key findings from the study were lack of disposal facilities, lack of infrastructure for formal collection, disposal, and the recycling procedures. For the e-wastes, and the core disposal of the e-wastes with domestic wastes in open dumps, causing severe damage to the environment and human health, just to mention a few, and as also indicated in the short video that was played before us a few minutes ago. Since then, as a country, we have been engaged into various undertakings, specifically on the collection and disposal of e-wastes, and more efforts need to be done in this area, taking into consideration the big size of our country and the need to establish the e-waste treatment facilities. Honorable Minister, furthermore, in 2019 and 2020, TCRI conducted a baseline survey on e-wastes in Tanzania, and the findings of the survey showed that with the advancement of ICT services, the challenges in e-waste management is expected to rise in the future. The Secretary General just gave some numbers when he was talking here before me, and the survey also gave the recommendations for formulating the regulations that are specific and clearly defining the roles and responsibility of manufacturers, importers, recyclers, government institutions, and all other stakeholders towards facilitating the creation of better e-waste management solutions. Honorable guests of honor, as a follow-up to the survey conducted, TCRA is already working on a project based on the extended producer responsibilities model, where manufacturers and importers are required to ensure that all electronic communication equipment are assessed to prevent the importation of electronic communication equipment that have reached their end of life. This project is also involving the collection of So this project is also involving the collection of advanced Eaco fees to be used for establishing e-waste treatment facilities in the country. The operations of this project, Honorable Minister, is expected to begin in May 2023, this year. Honorable Minister, e-waste management requires both policy, legal, and regulatory framework to put the process in the right direction, adequate awareness programs, research and adequate statistics, training on e-waste management to e-waste capacity of the involved sectors, as well as involving various stakeholders, as well as strengthening public, private, and consumer partnership on e-waste management. As such, the e-waste problems cannot be tackled by a single actor. All relevant stakeholders are required to sit together. We are required to comprehensively advise proper mechanism on handling the problem, and this gathering is proper forum for having a sustainable e-waste management in our region. Honorable guests of honor, it's not my intention to deliver a long talk here, taking into account the busy schedule that we all have here, but also the busy schedule and the way this program is organized in the next 2 days, in which we will deliberate further in different areas of e-waste management. It's my hope that we will all have fruitful deliberations and positive outcome with respect to e-waste management in our region. Honorable guests of honor, now allow me to welcome the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Mnaku, representing the Permanent Secretary today, to give his remarks, but also welcome you, Honorable. Thanks.
Honorable Nape Moses Nauye, Minister for Information, Communication and Information Technology, Dr. Omar Mshajak, Principal Secretary, First Vice President Office, responsible with environment. All permanent secretaries they are present. Engineer Othman Hatib, the Board Chair of TCRA, Dr. Ali Simba, Executive Secretary Eaco, Dr. Jabil Bakari, Director General TCRA, Dr. Mzee, Director of ICT, from the Ministry of Infrastructure, Communication and Transport, and the member of TCRA Board from Zanzibar, representatives of ICT and environmental regulators from EAC member states, representatives of the government institutions, members of the private sector present, invited guests, member of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First and foremost, and on behalf of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Information, Communication and Information Technology, Mr. Mohamed Abdullah, who could not join us today due to other ongoing duties, would like to thank the guests of honor for your acceptance to officiate this event, despite the tight schedules that you have. This demonstrates your commitment in pushing the e-waste agenda in our country and the region at large. Secondly, would like to welcome all delegates who have traveled from other countries and other parts, within our country, basically for setting time to participate and to participate in this important event. Thirdly, I would like to thank the organizers and those who worked tirelessly to make this event colorful. And this demonstrates that is a good indication that the 5th Eaco regional e-waste management on sustainable e-waste management would be of success. Honorable guest of honor, I understand that the delegates, basically they are eager to hear your speech. Let me take this opportunity without taking much longer time to invite you, but before that, let me invite the MC, basically for a word before inviting you to offer the event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A round of applause. Thank you very much, Mr. Munaku. Before we welcome the minister, we would like to get a word from the Permanent Secretary from Zanzibar, Dr. Omar Shajak.
Guest of honor, Honorable Minister of Information, Communication and Information Technology, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Surprisingly, I have been given this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Zanzibar government, maybe. But I would like to take this opportunity to extend our sincere appreciation and gratitude for being invited in this Eaco workshop, and especially for those who are coming from the environment. It is a very hard nut to crack, the issue of e-waste in Zanzibar. So we are very much pleased to be here, and let me take this opportunity again to extend our sincere appreciation and gratitude for being invited to this Eaco workshop. On behalf of the government of Zanzibar, I would like to thank you very much for being invited. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome Mr. Munaku to welcome the minister. It's fine. All right. Now let's all welcome the minister, Honorable Nape Moses Nauye.
Good morning. Habari za asubuhi. After they have recognized almost everybody in the room, I don't wish to do the mentioning again. Allow me to say all protocols observed. And I recognized that the high table has been gender insensitive. But all good. May I take this opportunity on behalf of the government of Tanzania and the authorities in this country to welcome everybody, especially those who traveled from different countries. We are happy to have you in the country, and looks like you came with the blessings of rain and good weather in Dar es Salaam. So we hope you extend your stay so that we enjoy the weather. It is a great privilege and honor for me to officiate the 5th Eaco Regional E-Waste Workshop on sustainable e-waste management in the East African region here at the Serena Hotel in Dar es Salaam, in this country. I commend the Tanzania Communications Regulatory Authority, the National Environment Management Council, Zanzibar Environment Management Authority, stakeholder institutions, and the East African Communications Organization, Eaco, for organizing this important workshop. And I would like to thank them for giving me the opportunity to be part of this useful and beneficial event. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to note that the objective of this workshop is to bring together policymakers, regulators, operators or service providers, academia, researchers, and the relevant stakeholders on e-waste in East Africa to deliberate on issues involving on the management of e-waste in the region. I also take note that the East African member states are currently implementing the 2022-2025 regional e-waste management strategy, which has 5 pillars. The pillars range from policy, legal, and the regulatory frameworks to infrastructure for e-waste management, resource mobilization, coordination, and institutional alignment and capacity building, research and innovation, which is the continuous implementation of a previous strategy which ended in 2022, and this workshop is tailored to assess the implementation on the same for all 5 East African countries. E-waste is considered as one of the fastest growing wastes in the world, which are toxic and non-biodegradable. The increase of e-waste volume is a result of the increase of electronic communication equipment coupled by the ongoing digital transformation in our countries. I am informed that the workshop will not only contribute towards achieving sustainable e-waste management in the region, but also contribute towards mitigating the negative impacts caused by the e-waste in the region. We can achieve this by working together and sharing relevant information in the management of e-waste. Distinguished guests, as a country, we have long recognized the need to streamline and coordinate e-waste management initiatives across the country by bringing together all stakeholders in the management of e-waste in our country through formulating relevant laws, regulations, standards, guidelines, and capacity building. In 2019, the government of Tanzania reviewed the Electronic and Postal Communications Act of 2010 to accommodate the needs for managing end-of-life processes of electronic communication equipments in the country, thus paving a way for formulation of electronic and postal communications, the Electronic Communications Equipment Standards, and the e-waste management regulations of 2020. These regulations provide obligations to different stakeholders in the management of e-waste in our country, from manufacturers or producers, importers, recyclers, and refurbishers, bulk consumers, and other stakeholders. Proliferation of substandards, counterfeit, and the used electronic products significantly contribute to the increased e-waste in our region. It is therefore important to manage the influx of substandards, counterfeits, and the used products, which in return will substantially decrease the amount of e-waste in our region. On the other hand, e-waste may also contribute to sources of raw materials, recovery and recycling are performed in an environmentally sound manner. As developing countries, we have not put proper processes for handling electrical and electronic equipment as they enter our countries up to their end of life, and therefore missing to utilize the role of producers in managing e-waste. The involvement of manufacturers and the importers through the extended producer responsibility, EPR, is important toward realizing efficient management of e-wastes. Tanzania is on its early stages of implementing the extended producer responsibility, where producers of e-waste will be paying an advance Eaco levy fees for each electronic communication equipment that is introduced in the market in respect of the handling of the end-of-life processes and the environmental sound disposal. East African countries, like other developing countries, have the obligations to build capacity for recycling and the treatment of e-waste in an environmental sound manner. We also need to develop proper processes for collection of e-waste, including putting in place incentives measures such as take-back schemes. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my sincere hope that these 3 days of the workshop will be used efficiently and come up with a productive output on e-waste management in the region. With these few remarks, I am honored and privileged to declare that the 5th Eaco Regional E-Waste Workshop on Sustainable E-Waste Management in the region here at Serena Hotel in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, is now officially opened. Thank you for your kind attention. Asanteni sana na karibuni sana Tanzania.
Asante sana. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Another round of applause for Honorable Minister. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, we know you have a very tight schedule, but before you leave, we would like to ask for your permission so that we could do the photo session. Thank you very much. We would like to start with delegates from Kenya for the photo session with Honorable Minister. Kenyan delegates. Thank you. Karibu. From Kenya as a country, Kenya. Oops, sorry. Asante. Asante. Thank you very much. I'd like to call upon Rwanda, delegates from Rwanda, Karibu. After Rwanda, DRC will follow. After Rwanda, DRC, get ready. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have members from DRC? After DRC, South Sudan. South Sudan. After South Sudan, do we have Uganda? Uganda. South Sudan, tafadhali, karibu. Uganda, please get ready. you. Thank you very much. Uganda. Tanzania, please get ready. Tanzania delegates, please get ready. Tanzania. I know you're many, but those the invited guests, that's what I'm referring to. Invited guests from Tanzania. If we'll be many, we could do 2 groups, that's fine. So maybe, okay, some of us can wait so that we can get good pictures. Thank you. I hope photographers are getting good pictures because this is a big group. Thank you. All right, the second group, Tanzania. TCR management, kindly get ready. TCRA management, please get ready. Thank you. TCRA management, kindly come to the stage. Eaco secretariat, kindly get ready. Eaco secretariat. TCRA management. TCRA management, please. Eaco secretariat. And preparatory committee, please get ready. You are next. Eaco secretariat. It's only you? All right. Thank you. Preparatory committee, please come forward. Preparatory committee, quickly. Are you getting good pictures? Because these are the guys who made this possible. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, I would also like to recognize the presence of DIT students. Kindly wave at the Minister. So they're also here, they've joined us for this event. Two groups, please split into 2 groups so that we can get good picture with the Minister. Two groups, I think that's enough so that we can get a good picture. Some of you at the back, we still have, can you come closer this way? Yes, right there. Just squeeze a bit. Great. Thank you. Second group. Quickly, can you come this side? Hello? Yes, come closer this side. Thank you. And sogeeni karibu na kiti cha mheshimiwa kidogo mbele. Wengine tusimame nyuma, wafupi tusimame mbele. Thank you very much. Thank you. Honorable Minister, Burundi, I left out Burundi. Burundi delegates, kindly come to the front. Burundi, delegates from Burundi, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, this is the end of our opening session. Now, if you can allow me, we would like to say thank you so much for being here on the opening event. And the breakfast is ready, so you could go back to the lounge and, yes, and the breakfast will be served. Okay. Another round of applause as our minister is walking out. Thank you very much. Distinguished delegates, before we go for our breakfast, I would also like to inform you that tomorrow we'll be heading to Chilambo E-West Management Site at Kisarawe. So for those of you who wish to participate or be in that trip, kindly see Mr. Norman, and he will register you. Norman, kindly wave so that they can see you. Thank you. So tomorrow after lunch, we'll all be heading there. So if you're interested, we would like to see this site, you'll see Norman. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I would like now to welcome you for breakfast. Breakfast is ready and it's just outside. And we should be back in 15 minutes. 15 minutes so that we can proceed to the next, or to our first presentation before we start our sessions. Thank you very much. Karibuni sana Tanzania.
Kwenye mawasiliano tunakutana na kitu kingine tunasema cyberspace. Ukiingia pale unakutana na mambo mengi sana. Ukienda unataka kujifunza ujasiriamali, unataka kujifunza kuwa mbunifu, utatoka na elimu kubwa sana. Lakini ukienda bila kujiandaa unataka kufanya nini kwenye mtandao, unaweza ukatoka pia umeharibikiwa. Kwa hiyo ni sehemu ambapo tunatakiwa twende tukiwa tumejiandaa kuvuna mazuri mengi yaliyokuwepo pale. Ndio maana leo tunaona mtu ambaye yuko darasa la 6 naambiwa ametengeneza app, amefanya kitu fulani huko kwenye cyberspace. Kwa siku hizi hatushangai kusikia mtu ameanza kuwa na kampuni yake akiwa mwaka wa 2 chuoni. Zamani zile tulikuwa na club za hesabu, tulikuwa tuna clubs za physics, clubs za chemistry, English, club mbalimbali. Sasa tumeongeza club ya tari.
Klabu hizi zimekuwa zikisaidia kuhakikisha watu wanatumia mawasiliano katika kujiletea maendeleo, na hivyo kama taifa ili tuweze kufikia uchumi wa kidigitali. Digital clubs oye!
Digital clubs oye! Tafadhali simameni, pigeni makofi, na hiyo ni ishara ya uzinduzi wa digital clubs.
TCRA kwa kushirikiana na wadau wa elimu, TAMISEMI, Wizara ya Elimu, TCU na NACTIVATE inaandaa mkakati mwongozo utakaoeleza bayana namna ya uanzishwaji wa klabu za kidigitali katika shule za msingi, sekondari na vyuo. TCRA inaamini kwa kupitia klabu hizi za kidigitali itapata manufaa yafuatayo: kuongeza wabunifu wenye umri mdogo, kuongeza wataalamu wa sekta ya mawasiliano kwa sababu ni sekta wezeshi, kuwezesha vijana kupata uelewa juu ya sekta ndogo ya mawasiliano, huduma za utangazaji, huduma za internet na simu, huduma za posta na usafirishaji wa vifurushi, kurahisisha mawasiliano pale panapokuwa na ombwe la ufahamu, awareness gap. Na kwa pamoja tutaweza kufikia uchumi wa kidijitali.
Mimi ni mwanachama wa Digital Club. Kuna faida nyingi tunazipata sana katika vyama hivyo. Elimu tunaipata ambayo inaenda kutusaidia baadaye. Hata mtu unakutana naye mtaani anafanya kitu ambacho sicho, una ule uelewa wa kumuelewesha kipi afanye, kipi asifanye kupitia hizo Digital Club.
Itatusaidia sisi wanafunzi kuweza kuelewa teknolojia kwa upana na kuweza kutatua masuala mbalimbali na kuweza kuepuka vishawishi na vitu vingine ambavyo vinatukabili hasa katika karne hii ama generation yetu ya vijana ama wanachuo kwa ujumla.
Matumizi sahihi ya mtandao yanaanza kwa sisi vijana, kwa sababu sisi vijana ndio chachu ya mabadiliko katika nchi yetu na ndio vijana ambao tunategemewa kuja kuibadilisha nchi hii na kuwafanya watu wengine waweze kujua matumizi sahihi ya mtandao.
Kwanza Digital Club yenyewe inanisaidia kunifanya niwe up to date, yani kunifahamisha mambo yote ambayo yanaendelea kwenye digital. Kuna mambo mengi ambayo tunayafanya kwenye Digital Club ambayo yako katika upande wa practical tofauti na tunavyovifanya darasani. Kwa sababu darasani tumebezi sana kwenye theory, lakini kwenye Digital Club tumebezi sana kwenye practical.
Kwenye hizi klabu tunaweza kujifunza vitu vingi.